Have you ever wondered what it truly takes to be, well, truly informed? Especially when crucial information might be hidden or maybe distorted or even, deliberately kept from you.
It's a constant challenge, isn't it? Figuring out what's real versus what's just presented as real. And who you can actually trust in that process is probably one of the most vital skills, really.
That's a really powerful point. And today we're doing a deep dive into this fascinating collection of sources that explores exactly that kind of challenge.
Right.
Our mission here is to pull out the key insights from these really detailed firsthand accounts.
Yeah.
We want to help you understand how one person navigates this incredibly treacherous landscape full of hidden truths and, believe it or not, ancient curses.
Yeah, the source material we're looking at is just incredibly rich. We've got these observations focusing on the experiences of a young woman named Feyre.
Right.
And her encounters with this often misunderstood civilization, the Fae of Prythian. Now, for anyone unfamiliar, the Fae are essentially immortal, magical beings. They live in Prythian, which is a realm totally separate from the human world.
And these sources, they give us this unique window, don't they, into their politics, their magic, their complex social rules. It really challenges a lot of these sort of preconceived ideas people might have.
Exactly. It forces you to look beyond the surface.
So let's set the scene a bit. You've got this world, rigidly divided by an invisible magical wall. On one side, mortals live in, well, frankly, terror of the immortal Fae.
Yeah, constant fear.
Whispers of old attacks, ancient grievances, still haunting market days. And this fear, it's passed down through generations, right? It forms the initial truth for these humans. This is basically where our story kicks off.
And in this human world, Feyre's reality is, well, it's stark, it's brutal. She's the main hunter, the provider for her family, her father and her sisters, Elaine and Nesta.
Living in poverty, basically.
Right.
Relentless hunger. The sources mention the cramped heat of their cottage, her fraying boots. It paints a very clear picture.
It really does. And that harsh reality, it shapes her profoundly. Her skills are all self-taught hunting, tracking, even swimming. She learned by watching others through trial and error. It shows incredible resourcefulness.
But there's a key vulnerability, too, her illiteracy. The sources specifically mention her mother neglected her education, unlike her sisters who can read.
And that's huge. In a world where information is power and often hidden, not being able to read is a major handicap.
It means her understanding has to rely completely on observation, on instinct, rather than written knowledge, which forces her to develop this unique kind of perception.
A crucial insight, really, into how people adapt when that standard access to truth is just denied.
Yeah. And then there's the village's view of fairies, just deep-seated fear and hatred, built on centuries of legends, these whispers of strange folks spotted in the area, tall and eerie and deadly.
It's really ingrained. Town hunters specifically warn about giant wolves, distant border towns left in splinters and bones and ashes. Real horror stories.
And the irony, their only defense are these useless ward markings on their cottage threshold. Feyre herself knows they're just an illusion of comfort.
It just highlights their vulnerability, doesn't it? And how easily people can cling to comforting lies instead of facing a much harsher reality.
It really makes you question how much of their understanding is based on actual fact versus just inherited superstition.
Exactly. We also get a brief mention of her connection with Isaac Hale. It's described as a release, a reprieve, a bit of selfishness, but importantly, lacking love.
Right. It hints at this emotional isolation she's lived with, makes her later journey even more, significant.
This whole emotional landscape really sets the stage for the inciting incident. Feyre's out hunting, desperate for food in this snowy forest, and suddenly she sees this wolf.
But not just any wolf. It's described as enormous, the size of a pony, with these golden eyes shining from the brush.
Precisely. And she knows the legend. Fairies hate iron, sure, but it's ashwood that made their immortal healing magic falter.
And ash trees are incredibly rare. The High Fae supposedly burned them all long ago.
So her decision to use her only ash arrow, one she hasn't used in 3 years, against this specific wolf, it's a massive gamble, a calculated, desperate risk to secure food for her family.
And her actions right after the kill are so telling. She takes the time, precious minutes, to skin the wolf and use its pelt to wrap the day she also killed, hiding the blood trail.
Pure survival instinct, trying to minimize any further risk from whatever threat might be out there.
But the consequences come fast.
Yeah.
And they are terrifying. This beast, who we later find out is Tamlin, a High Lord of the Fae, in his transformed state, shows up at her cottage.
Roaring murderers.
Yeah, demanding a life for a life.
Yeah.
Under this ancient treaty. And the crucial part, the treaty says fairies cannot lie.
Which establishes this baseline of truth, doesn't it? Even if it's a terrifying kind of truth. Fairies might be deceptive in other ways, but a direct statement under the treaty that holds weight.
Faced with this monster, basically, Feyre immediately steps up, takes responsibility to protect her family, even though she's terrified.
And the beast gives her two choices. Death, right there. Or cross the wall into Prythian, forever forsaking the human realm.
And her father just pleads, do it, Feyre, go, which kind of seals it.
Yeah. She quickly makes arrangements for her family, leaves money, gives hunting tips for Isaac Hale, just trying to ensure their survival without her.
And then she's taken, filled with fear and uncertainty, feeling like a little more than a lamb in a kingdom of wolves. It's a total plunge into the unknown.
And building on that shock, her arrival at the Spring Court, it's not just a new place, it's like immediate immersion into a world built on glamours and secrets.
She's initially awestruck, right? The estate is huge, beautiful compared to her old life. She notes so much color, so much sunlight and movement and texture, and it's spring there while it was winter back home.
That contrast is immediate. Then, her first encounters. Tamlin and Lucien. Tamlin appears human, but masked, described as unearthly, inhuman, wearing just a plain, dark green tunic.
And Lucien, he's got that scarred face, the metal eye. Very distinctive.
Feyre's first take is totally wrong, though. She thinks Tamlin's maybe a savior, but also fears being just a slave. It shows how quickly first impressions can mislead, especially here.
Yeah, especially when everything seems designed to mislead. And this brings up the blight they mentioned early on.
Right, this vague concept, affecting magic, forcing them to wear masks, weakening the protective wards around the estate.
But Tamlin and Lucien clearly have different ideas about how much to tell her about it.
Which is our first big clue, really, that the blight itself might be a kind of controlled narrative. A partial truth, maybe, hiding something deeper.
The masks are so symbolic, too. The servants wear them horse masks, bird masks, insect masks. Feyre pities them at first.
Until she realizes later those are glamours, illusions that can be removed. But then, the twist Tamlin's mask, it's bound to him.
Right, he says it's a choice between live as a beast or live with the mask. Permanently.
That distinction is crucial. And the whole concept of glamour itself, illusion, veiling memories or appearances, it's core to this world. It forces you and Feyre to constantly question what's real.
So Feyre's trying to adapt. She's mapping the manor, the grounds, trying to figure things out. And importantly, she tries to learn to read.
Using children's books, word lists, you see her internal struggle with her illiteracy, calling it a shortcoming.
But then Tamlin offers to help her, to teach her to read.
Which is significant, isn't it? It's a moment of potential connection. An ally offering her access to this fundamental tool for accessing information, it shows a different side of him.
At the same time, she's starting to sense the Spring Court's vulnerability. Piecing together the blight, the weak wards, there's some hidden urgency under all the beauty.
Things start to unravel more seriously from here. Lucien, kind of tricking her, sends her to trap a Suriel.
These creatures that are known for only speaking the truth.
Exactly. And even though it's trapped, the Suriel gives these really cryptic warnings, like, the High Lord does not know that you came here today. And much more ominously, it is too late, human, for the High Lord. For you, perhaps for your realm as well.
Wow. So even though she got there through deception, she accesses this unfiltered source of truth.
And the Suriel also mentions Hybern, this other fairy kingdom ruled by a wicked, powerful king whose throne is made of their bones. Chilling stuff.
Things escalate fast after that. The Naga attack.
And Feyre shows amazing quick thinking. She frees the Suriel, then faces the Naga herself. Bravely.
Until Tamlin intervenes. Brutally. Revealing his contained fury, his lengthened canines. And this is when he's first called High Lord.
Which confirms his status. He's not just some fairy lord. He's a ruler, powerful.
Then comes a winter solstice and more trouble. These evil creatures, Puka, Balga, Naga, they're getting through the wards because they're so weak.
Lucien even reports horrifying news from the Winter Court. 24 younglings burned, minds broken, confirming the blight is spreading its wickedness.
It's clear these aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a much deeper problem, a truth being actively suppressed.
And that suppression sets the stage perfectly for Amarantha's envoy, Rysand. His entrance is pure drama.
Described as incredibly beautiful, violet eyes that burned like stars. But there's instant tension with Tamlin and Lucien. palpable.
And his nature comes across immediately as cruel and pragmatic. I mean, he sends a severed head as a gift.
Charming. We learn he's the High Lord of the Night Court.
Mm-hmm.
Immense power, he can shatter minds. Known for making his subjects grovel. Yeah. And there's history there. Bad history with Tamlin's father.
This leads into the Calanmai, the Fire Night ritual, another moment packed with hidden truths. Tamlin tells Feyre desperately, "Lock your door, set up a snare."
But Feyre, being fair, curiosity wins out. She defies him and watches the masked High Fae perform this great rite.
And Rhysand steps in again when she gets cornered by 3 unmasked fairies. It shows this weird, manipulative, yet maybe protective interest he has in her.
Lucien later panics and explains the real purpose of Calanmai regenerating magic for crops, and that the main ceremony hadn't even started when Feyre was almost attacked. Another layer of controlled information peeled back.
But the biggest reveal, the full, devastating truth about the curse, comes from Alice, the servant. She's finally freed from the spell that kept her silent.
And she lays it all out. Amarantha showed up 100 years ago, supposedly an emissary from Hybern.
But she used a stolen potion from Hybern's spellbook to essentially steal the High Lord's powers, left them with just the basest elements of their magic.
So Tamlin's specific curse. He was tied to Hybern somehow, and he defied Amarantha. Spat in her face.
Exactly. Defiance. So his punishment, 7 times 7 years. 49 years to break the curse.
The conditions. Just cruel. He needed a human girl, one with ice in her heart, with hatred for our kind.
A girl willing to kill a fairy in an unprovoked attack purely out of that hatred, mimicking something from history, this figure Jurian attacking someone named Clythia.
But the twist? That's insidious. That same girl then had to fall genuinely in love with him.
And not just fall in love, but say to his face that she loved it and meant it with her entire heart, all before the 49 years ran out.
And the masks, they weren't just random. Amarantha bound the masks to their faces specifically to make it harder.
Right, more difficult to find a girl willing to look beyond the mask and to the soul beneath. It was psychological warfare, essentially.
So all the lies about the blight, their inability to speak about the curse, it was all part of the binding spell.
It shows how a single, calculated lie, combined with enforced silence and literal illusions, could control an entire society for nearly half a century.
And if they failed, Amarantha seized Tamlin and his whole court, took them under the mountain.
And in a side note, but a crucial one for Feyre's character arc later, it's revealed Tamlin had secretly taken care of her family.
Right, glamored their memories, made them think a long-lost wealthy aunt took Feyre away and restored their fortunes.
Exactly, ensuring their safety, even if it meant manipulating their reality. Which raises questions about benevolent deception, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Okay.
So this revelation shifts everything for Feyre. Her realization is just, I loved Tamlin, and I would go to the ends of the earth to make it right, to save him.
She decides to go under the mountain, defying Alice's warnings, determined to act, even with incomplete information about what she's walking into.
Her journey there is through this ancient shortcut cave, the one Lucien had told the adder not to use before.
And Alice gives her these stark, final warnings. Rules for surviving in a place built on deception. Don't drink the wine, don't make deals, don't trust a soul, and maybe the most chilling, your senses are your greatest enemies.
Practical advice for navigating a world where nothing is as it seems.
And Amarantha's court. It embodies that cruelty and hidden truth. Feyre sees Jurian's eye, remember the historical figure? It's encased in crystal on Amarantha's ring, and Claire's tortured body nailed to the wall.
These aren't just gruesome details. They're physical proof of the cruelty that the curse had kept hidden. It forces Feyre to confront the reality of Amarantha's evil, and maybe her own complicity or guilt.
Then Tamlin's apparent betrayal when she arrives. He acts cold, distant, claims, I've never seen her before.
But it's layered deception again, isn't it? He's under Amarantha's influence, trying to protect Feyre by pretending not to know her. Shows how hard it is to know true intent when everything's manipulated.
Then Rhysand steps in with his bargain. Lucien shows incredible loyalty, refuses to name Feyre, and Rhysand almost shatters his mind for it.
But Rhysand offers to heal Feyre's broken nose in exchange for a deal.
1 week out of every month, you are to come to my court. Sealed with that tattoo. Permanently marked upon flesh on her arm. This black cloud that seems to watch her.
It's a forced bargain, definitely coercive, but it also, maybe unintentionally, gives Feyre this strange connection, a potential lifeline, in a place where she's utterly alone.
Amarantha then sets the 3 tasks for Feyre, veiled in that riddle. For though each of my strikes lands a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow.
These tasks become trials of more than just strength. They test her ability to see through deception, to adapt.
First task, the worm in the pit. Feyre uses her wits, her human survival skills. Uses bones to climb out, then impales the worm.
Second task, scrubbing a floor with dirty water. She uses her hunting skills again, tracking hidden lentils in a fireplace to find what she needs. Ingenious, really.
The third task involves another riddle, choosing livers. And the sources hint at Rysand's intervention here. Subtle. Her tattoo burns, maybe guiding her hand to the correct lever.
It shows how, denied direct information, her practical experience and ability to read tiny cues become her way of finding the truth.
But the psychological toll is immense. The sources describe her weeping, despairing, feeling hollow and dark and empty. She sees herself as an ignorant human fool. The weight of it all is crushing.
And Rysand keeps manipulating things, constantly goading her, showing this cruel pragmatism, using her to push Tamlin into a senseless fury.
We see his true power too, wings, talons, mind-shattering ability, and he reveals their shared pain, saying they're both enslaved to a tyrant queen.
At the summer solstice dance, he gives her fairy wine starlight, apparently which loosens her up. Tamlin tries to protect her.
But Rysand asserts his ownership through the bargain. He paints her body, using it as a barometer for Tamlin's fury, forcing Tamlin's reactions. There's that kiss, too, a shared moment.
It makes you ask, right? Can these harsh, even cruel methods sometimes be necessary to break through powerful illusions or uncover deeper truths?
His motivation is finally revealed, too. My father killed Tamlin's father and his brothers. This brutal history explains Amarantha's specific punishment for him. Personal vendettas fueling hidden agendas.
So, the climax of the curse. It's brutal. Feyre finally puts all the pieces together, all the fragmented truths she's gathered.
She realizes the final part of the curse through Tamlin's subtle clues, him leaving doors open, speaking in public where she might overhear.
The core idea. Amarantha controls the High Lords by linking their power, their very heartbeats, to hers.
So to break the curse, Feyre has to do two things. First, kill a fairy out of hatred, fulfilling that first condition. Then, she has to kill Tamlin with an ash dagger.
While telling him she loves him. To sever that link to Amarantha, it's horrifying.
Amarantha forces the issue, presents 3 kneeling fairies, gives Feyre the ash dagger. Feyre's torn, especially seeing this young high fae plead for his life.
But for her love, for the truth she now understands is necessary, she commits these acts of butchery. Kills 2 of them.
Then the ultimate sacrifice. She looks at Tamlin, says, "I love you," and stabs him with the ash dagger, believing it's the only way.
Believing she's killing him to save him.
The immediate aftermath is just harrowing. Amarantha is enraged. She tortures Feyre to death, breaking her spine.
But then, rebirth. The High Lords step forward. Lucien removes his mask. The Lords of Dawn and Day Courts, and Rysand too.
Each one bestows a drop of light, of magic onto Feyre's body. It was the only way we could save you, they say. Finally revealing their collective power now that the curse's hold is maybe weakening or broken by Feyre's actions.
And just like that, Feyre is made. She becomes immortal, high fae, her body is transformed, but her heart, she feels, is still human.
Amarantha's defeat follows instantly. Tamlin, freed by Feyre's sacrifice, transforms into his full beast form, unleashes all that suppressed power.
And brutally kills Amarantha. The sources say he ripped it out. The hidden truth of his power finally unleashed.
So back, they go to the spring court, the high fae, the other fairies, they're finally free, celebrating. Tamlin's mask is gone, his true face revealed.
It's presented as a new beginning. Feyre and Tamlin journey back, seeing Alice and her boys safe and out of hiding at last. The physical signs of Amarantha's reign are gone.
But there's a lingering cost for Feyre, isn't there? It's palpable. She struggles with the deaths she caused, the sheer weight of her actions.
And the transformation of her artistic self. She feels hollow and dark and empty. Despite being immortal high fae now, her heart feels still human, still grappling with the burden of what it took to uncover and act upon the truth.
We started by asking what it takes to be truly informed, didn't we? Especially when information is actively hidden or twisted.
Yeah.
This deep dive into Prythian through Feyre's experiences, it really shows that sometimes the most vital truths are the ones deliberately kept from us, or the ones we have to fight, tooth and nail to uncover, piece by painful piece.
So the question we leave you with is this. In your own life, what glamours, maybe less magical, more metaphorical, might be influencing your perception of reality? Or perhaps hiding the true nature of the challenges you face?
And if you were faced with a choice, one that demanded immense sacrifice to get to a deeper, maybe more profound truth, how would you figure out what's really worth fighting for?